free stuff?
Yes.
So do I.
Yeah, it's our favorite price.
Just saying.
He's angling for the wheel of death here.
You gotta get Raj on the win.
Yeah. Let's see here.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Are they all doing a waiting kind of a thing?
Yeah.
That actually is really cute, Jamie.
Thanks. I had a little bit too much fun with the gifts.
There she is, being all clever and stuff.
The cat's my favorite because he's like falling asleep and then he jerks awake.
Yeah, I guess I've seen that move in meetings before.
Yeah, me too. Though my morning meeting today, actually, it was a training for a huge sales team, and a couple of them were just like, you could tell, like they were just fighting.
They're just fighting it.
It's like, quick, throw in a joke.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, should we give it another minute or should we get going here, Haley?
I would say go ahead and get started. Jamie has permission, so if somebody pops up, she can just let them in quickly.
Yep, I can do that.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Power Lunch. I think we're going to have a interesting time today with Jamie Moore from Blackpoint. We're taking it in, I don't want to say necessarily a different direction, but it's a little bit of a different direction. Well, it is a technology topic. It's one that we've had a lot of questions about, and it has to do with insurance. So we're going to have a discussion around insurance and cyber insurance and what that means, and you know, some of the different aspects of it. And after the presentation, we do have the Wheel of Fun, and for I think today we're spinning for not only a bag of Blackpoint, very valuable Blackpoint gear, but also a free assessment. Am I correct on that, Jamie?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do an external vulnerability scan for you and send you some like seller swag. We've got some bottle openers and stickers and pens and whatnot. So
yeah, I'll sell my firstborn child for a logo pen and a bottle opener. So that's awesome. Of course, he's not worth that much, so maybe just a pen. I'm just kidding. He's worth at least a pen and a bottle opener.
The bottle opener is pretty cool. It's like a playing card, so it's like shaped kind of unique.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yep. Very cool. All right. So with that, let's go ahead, and Jamie, we can see your screen. So go ahead and head into it.
Excellent. So today I want to cover a couple of things. First and foremost is why consider cyber liability insurance, and also why did Blackpoint, we're predominantly a security company, why did we begin to offer cyber liability insurance? We'll talk about some of the differences between first party and third party coverage so that you make sure when you're evaluating insurance solutions that you know what you're getting. Talk through some of the cyber claims, the pitfalls, and then the benefits of going with our solution for cyber liability insurance. I do have question and answer at the end, but I've done these presentations for you guys before, and it's a lot more fun if you pop in with your questions as we go. So let's keep it conversational, fun, light, and we'll go from there. Does that sound like a good plan, guys?
Sounds
I see
good.
some heads. Awesome. Yeah, I was going to say I see some heads shaking, so let's go with it. So my name's Jamie. I manage the insurance at Blackpoint RISK. We do, and then I'm also the partner success manager for Blackpoint Cyber. And that kind of dual role allows me to provide my clients and partners with the best cybersecurity available and back it up with cyber risk policies to help them live to fight another day if something goes wrong. Blackpoint Cyber itself, if you aren't familiar with our company, we were founded back in 2012. John Murchison is our CEO and our founder, and he spent over 12 years at the NSA conducting our country's top cyber operations. And I always joke about cyber operations because that's such a PC term for hacking. I've never heard anything more politically correct. But he was breaking into networks and left that world and gathered this world-class team of advisors and really set forth to create a tool that would stop hackers from being able to break into networks. So that is how he got started. And why we got into risk specifically was because our partners needed an easy button for cyber liability insurance. It is a complicated field. There's a lot of ups and downs in the market with ransomware going through the roof. I kept hearing things like, we had cyber liability insurance, it was super affordable, but then we had to make a claim and we got dropped, or our claim rates went up through the roof this year, or our premium rates went up through the roof this year because of all the breaches, or my carrier has stopped offering cyber liability insurance altogether. I've heard all of those problems and concerns. And at the end of the day, cyber liability insurance is there as like that last ditch, element to make you whole in the event that something has gone wrong. And it's an important part of any incident response plan. You need to understand, that you're doing everything you can to prevent yourself from getting into that position. But at the end of the day, you don't have a complete IR plan unless you plan for the worst, right? So cyber risk insurance is just that. It's making sure that if the worst happens, you can be made whole and you can move forward. So there's a lot of questions about what cyber liability insurance is, what it covers, the different types of risks that it covers, and how the solutions can be really tailored to fit each individual customer. So one of the things about Blackpoint is that we aren't actually writing policies. We aren't tied to a specific carrier. We function as a broker. So we bring our customers the best that the market has to offer, and we help match them with the right plan to suit their needs. So at the end of the day, we're wanting to provide coverage and liability associated with the risk when a network is breached or compromised, right? And that covers all types of things. It covers loss of data and claims for disruption of business, right, in the event of a cyber liability breach. The risks that it'll protect to is ransomware demands, of course, biometric data claims, state sponsors attacks, those continue to grow. IP or personal identification attacks. So IP is intellectual property. That's the property that makes your business special and unique. We also are protecting municipalities. We're seeing cryptojacking be a thing, and so we're watching that as well. And then also, just right now, there's this heightened incident disclosure expectations. So if you are breached, you have a responsibility to tell people that you were breached and to communicate that. And so we need help our customers with that as well. So we cover all kinds of situations related to those emerging risks. We help our partners with first party coverage. So that's coverage for you, making yourself whole, right? That includes the crisis management, getting your systems back up and running, recovering your data, and compensating you for disrupted business while the incident has happened. And then worst case scenario, payment of those cyber extortion and ransomware. I personally am very against paying the hackers. It's like feeding the wildlife. I really want to see all of my clients get to a point where they never have to do that. But at the end of the day, when you're doing business, sometimes you need to have that coverage. So we make that available as well. Additionally, we have third-party coverage. And what is that, right? What's the difference? Well, if one of your customers is harmed by a breach you experience, third-party coverage helps make them whole. All right. And so those different levels and the nuanced differences is really important to understand so that you make sure you get policies that are going to protect you and cover you for all the different possible situations that you could run into. And all of that means just getting customized solutions, making sure that you're getting advice from an experienced team of professionals, folks that know the market, know the risks, and know how to protect you from them. We customize policies considering your industry, your size, your trends, your unique risks, so that when you need to make a claim, the money's actually there and it's sufficient to cover your demands. We also have an extensive panel of breach response consultants to make sure that we are responding as effectively as possible to an incident, again, to minimize the damage, right? And to get you headed in the right direction again. And then all of that is managed by a dedicated claims advocacy partner who it's their job to oversee the whole thing and give you peace of mind knowing that that's one less thing you have to worry about in the event that you need to use this risk. Does anyone have any questions so far, or does this kind of overarching plan and goal make sense? I'm seeing some heads shaking, so that's excellent. It is complicated, so I've got that lovely tree of all of the different coverages that are available. And I have this because a lot of times I get asked, like, what happens if, I need to involve someone to handle public relations to protect my brand during a breach? Is that covered? Who's going to pay for the forensic investigation? Who's going to pay for credit monitoring for my business? Who's going to pay for credit monitoring for my customers, right? Third-party people, again, damaged by the breach. A lot of times people also are thinking about cyber liability just in terms of like ransomware or something like that. But really, this can cover your system failure that could be the result of a cyber attack and all of your dependent business interruptions. So, you had a system that relied on this server so that you could do your job, but then no one could work for a week because they couldn't get to the data to know what their work orders were or who they needed to go visit and stuff. And so the whole thing was interrupted. All of that is first party coverage stuff. Third party coverage is, again, these are things that are the result of, harm to your company falling down the chain to other parties. So your clients and their related claims. Having policies that will cover this whole breadth prevents you from getting sued, right? And makes you whole and keeps your customers whole and everyone's happy, which is the ideal relationship in the if there's something wrong. So first party coverage is all about managing the crisis and getting you back to normal, all right? So when we are doing this, our goal is to stop the bleeding, recover as much as possible, and get your business running again. That way you can continue on with your work, we can minimize the amount of damages that are done, and we can get things going. So that's primary goal number one with first party coverage, is to stop the bleeding, recover systems, and get you back to work. Again, third party is to make your customers whole. All right, I think I've already explained that fully, but that could involve fines, penalties, anything else that you might need to pay as well as a result of them being breached. So that's a nice little element to add to that knowledge. Our claims process is really straightforward, simple, tried and true. Step one, we need to gather all of the information, your internal team, review the incident and review your incident response plan. Step two is debriefing with the claims member that's assigned to get them up to speed. Step three is a claims specialist will help you formulate your response, and then you execute the response, right? So figure out what's happening, get everyone on the same page, decide what needs to be done, and then do it. And when you have a straightforward process like that, it is so much easier to work through than when everyone's just panicking, running around, trying to figure out what comes next, right? We have a lot of different examples of different types of claims. but the most common are going to be ransomware attacks, phishing scams that result in the loss of funds. I had a customer who had $600,000 stolen from them by someone who impersonated an email account and convinced their bank to direct money to a different account. Didn't really touch the network, but it came in through, cyber, right? And then business interruption again is a definite example of a claim. Now, some things to be aware of when you're evaluating cyber insurance. Your insurance is only going to pay up to the premium. So when you buy cyber liability, just like any insurance, it's going to say, okay, this policy is worth $1 million or $750,000, and it will not pay anything more than that. So that means that you need to be really aware of limiting your risk, using a good pragmatic mix of security solutions to make those claims as small as possible. You need to have your incident response plan laid out ahead of time so that, again, you're not rushing when you need to use it. And then you need to make sure your coverage is appropriate. You have to have enough to cover that business disruption, possible claims made against you from third parties, and getting your own systems restored. All right, you don't want to buy too much insurance and be paying a lot of extra money for policies that you'll never need. And you don't want to buy too little insurance and not have a policy that's going to make you whole in the event that something goes wrong. So I hope that's all clear. And that's also what our team helps you, helps you decide. Because at the end of the day, when it hits the fan, you need to be able to recover. And so Blackpoint RISK is there to help you move forward with cyber liability insurance so that you have the safety and confidence that you need. You can know your risk is mitigated fully by our technology. And in the worst case scenario, you've got a plan of action. And we do that with simple, powerful insurance solutions that take a lot of the confusion and the heartburn out of cybersecurity and just gives you a policy that's going to work when you need it. And the benefit of that is when you pair it with our 24/7 managed detection and response solution that is the best in the industry, we're able to actually lower the chances that you will ever need to use your cyber liability plan, which gets you more affordable claims. And then we provide you with that peace of mind to know that you're covered in the event that something goes wrong. So did anyone have any questions about that so far? Kenneth, you're raising your hand.
Yes. A couple questions.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a minimum requirements of your clients as far as what they're doing for security, or can they just buy insurance?
So our requirement is that you do use our managed detection and response solution, because by doing that, you are de-risking your environment. And we have eyes on the inside. We can de-risk you too, right? We'll see if there is a breach that is coming in. Other cyber liability policies don't have that requirement, but they'll require that you pass an external vulnerability scan, that you're doing X, Y, and Z steps. These policies can actually be quite long with the number of steps that you need to be doing in order to qualify. That's one of the pitfalls, right? And if you can satisfy those requirements just by running one solution and making it really simple, there's a lot of value there.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question about, I have a couple actually.
Excellent.
I've heard, that a lot of times these insurance companies send out questionnaires, and if you're checking off like, hey, we're staying up to date with all our antivirus and those kind of things, and you're actually not, they can void your policy when you actually submit a claim.
Yeah. So our policies. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your question. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just clarifying that you're saying yes to that. That's actually a true statement.
It is a true statement that they do that. The policies that we bring to the table are generally bypassing that requirement because managed detection and response is deployed. So, you still, of course, should be doing those things. And they might in your policy require that you have antivirus or something like that. But those are steps you should be doing anyways to keep yourself secure. So, as long as you're taking reasonable steps to secure your network, you're going to have coverage when you need it, especially if you're running it alongside managed detection and response. You're getting it through us. We're going to make sure that that policy is there when you need it.
Okay. And the second question, it just happened to one of our, we do backup as a service. So one of our DR customers got fully encrypted, and we actually recovered their data within 3 hours, but unfortunately they couldn't turn their machines on and start using them because they were busy doing forensics.
Right.
And they actually had another day and a half of downtime waiting for forensics to clear them before they could get back into production.
Right. And that is, that is a really real possibility. And so when I think about that from a couple angles, I think about the fact that had we been able to detect that problem, the ransomware beginning to be deployed in the system and actually stop it before more than just one or two machines were affected, that limits the amount of business disruption for all of the clients, right? So think about this in two pieces. You've got the insurance that is going to require forensics because they need to know the scope of the damage. They need to know what data was breached, who might have valid claims due to this response, and is the problem completely remediated. So that's why you have that need to put the pause and evaluate the systems. So that's one piece of it. The other piece is preventing it from getting to the point where it's that widespread. Managed detection and response, our cyber liability or our cyber security solution is like having a sprinkler system throughout the building. If you think of fire suppression in a building, you have all of the sensors and you have the sprinklers in each individual zone. And a really good system is going to respond just in the zone that has the smoke, right? Because you want to put that problem out right where you see it so that you don't damage other areas that are good. Good cybersecurity, good internal detection and response is going to work in that same way. We're going to spot the one or two systems that are having a problem, respond instantly to those machines to mitigate it before it spreads through the network. And then you don't have an entire company unable to log into their computers because they can't access the data while forensics is happening. You've got two devices that are detained until forensics has their wicked way with them. And then you can go on about your business, right? Okay. Any other questions about that?
How is it priced? I'm not asking what the price is, but how is it priced?
So price is going to depend on do you have a history of breaches? That makes it more expensive, right? It's going to be priced based off of your industry, your company's revenue, how much money you have flowing in and out every day, and the amount of premium, the amount of coverage that you want. And with those different factors balanced for, the risks that the your industry in general is experiencing, they'll come up with an individual plan for you.
I recently had a local business approach me. They had experienced a possible breach. All right. They actually have a different business partner, and they did have insurance, cyber insurance. Now their business partner didn't provide them with guidance, but said you probably want to look into doing forensics, and that'll probably cost you between $20,000 and $30,000. But there was no evidence of an actual breach. They asked me what to do. I kind of backed away from the answer, but what is there? You can't really advise someone to not do forensics, but if there wasn't evidence of a breach, what would be the classic advice in that space if they're a small business concerned with spending 30 grand on forensics?
Yeah, that's a really hard situation because if you do find that there's a problem and a breach, then you're liable to address it, right? So I think that's one for the lawyers, honestly, to answer, because it could have legal implications for the customer if they don't investigate and if they do investigate. So
Yeah, I put that in Pepe Le Pew mode. I backed away from it quick. So
and I'm going to do the same thing. I will back away from that one. I'm not going to give that particular customer direct advice other than to consult with their legal team and go based off their counsel.
Right.
Yeah.
Another question.
Mm-hmm.
Who underwrites all this?
That is an excellent question. So there's a number of different underwriters. Since we act as a broker, there are some different policies that we bring to the table, and it's actually different based on the industry, which companies will even underwrite the business, which is really interesting to me. So we bring, we go shop the global market and we bring the best policies forth to the customers.
If somebody is a customer of Blackpoint Security, is there then an incentive for them to become a customer? Let's say they already have some kind of cyber insurance with another carrier. Is there some kind of an incentive for them to work with Blackpoint RISK as their partner?
You know, I would just direct them to carefully review their policy. If it's meeting their needs and it's affordable, then, you know, that's fine. That's good. It's meeting your needs and you can afford it. Keep with it. If it's not a thorough policy, if it doesn't have the third-party coverage, if you have a history of making claims and them saying, nope, not it, those are all indicators that maybe you should look at getting better coverage that's going to actually protect you if there's a risk. There's no harm or issue with getting a proposal and looking at what's available. You know, there's
So
go ahead.
If people have questions, can Blackpoint RISK help them assess what their compare current versus what Blackpoint RISK would offer, so they have a sense of it? Because, you know, if they have a package from another provider that's woefully inadequate, but they don't have the knowledge to make that determination.
Right. Yeah, if they're willing to be transparent about us with what they currently have, we will do side-by-side comparisons to help them make a decision. And, you know, I've seen it go both ways, honestly. I've seen it been like, oh, actually, that's a really good policy and you're grandfathered into a great price. You should probably keep it, you know. And other times I've been like, like you've got $20 worth of coverage here and it's costing you $50. Maybe you should, you know, quit that. So definitely take a look at it and we'd be happy to help them make that decision.
Awesome.
All right. Any other questions today? So the last thing I really wanted to do was to take a look at like the risks themselves. You know, one of the things that I hear again and again is small businesses telling me like, we don't need cyber liability, we don't need cyber security because we're too small and no one cares about my data, right? Unfortunately, hacking has gotten to a point where it's not really about caring about your data. It's a worldwide global industry and it's people all over making a buck. You know, if someone's willing to sell chewing gum at a store and make, you know, 5 cents off of a pack of gum and do that a million times across the world, I mean, they're looking at breaching your environment in that same economy of scale. You know, it takes them a lot less work to break into a smaller mid-sized business than it does to attack a global enterprise that has millions of dollars. And our days of trying to, you know, come from the perspective that we can do security by obscurity, it's just over. It's over. It's been over for a long time. If you have exposed, you know, vulnerabilities on your home network, on your business network, on your personal finances, you're using the same password everywhere, they will come in anywhere, any of those openings, and extort you for money if they can. It is a pervasive problem. It's everywhere, and everyone needs practical, pragmatic cybersecurity that covers the 5 bases of the NIST security framework. And everybody needs cyber liability insurance and a plan if something goes wrong. Awesome. All right, guys. So that's essentially all I had for you today. Oh, and I'm still sharing. Doop-a-doop. There we go. So I guess the last thing then is we have a giveaway, right?
Right, we have the giveaway. Haley, are you able to do that, or do you want me to give it a shot?
I am up and running. You can see it, correct?
I
Yeah.
can see it.
All right, let's go.
Looks like the chances are pretty good.
I was gonna say, you could take me off. But I'll take a tchotchke.
All right. You
But
do
as
your
far as-
own cyber liability or cyber intrusion detection and all that jazz?
Yes.
Yeah,
correct.
you got all the icons up in your corner there. I would gladly send you the bottle opener, pens, and stickers
Nice.
though.
That'll be great. I love
Yeah.
tchotchkes.
Excellent. So provide Haley with the mailing address for me to send those, and I will
Sure.
get those out the door.
All right. Do we want to do the assessment between head-to-head Texas fork match between Pat and Denny?
Let's do it.
Looks like a Pokemon ball.
It's
Oh,
50-50 shot.
there, Pat got his favorite thing.
All right. If you guys both send your external IP address over to Haley, she'll get them to me, and I will do cyber external vulnerability scans for both of you. So
Oh, that was very
that
generous
was
of you.
nice.
Thank you, Jamie.
easy peasy. Happy to do that.
Awesome.
So
Very good.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you very
Cool.
much for that.
no
Again,
problem.
thanks, Jamie, for your time today. Really an interesting subject, and like I said, very timely because it was just a day ago that I was asked that question. And I know it's on a lot of businesses' minds, and a lot of times they just don't know where to go with it. There's
Yeah.
It's a complex issue, and like you said, even that question about what should I do about it, yeah, it kind of creeps everybody out answering that question, right? So
Yeah.
very good. I appreciate your time, and if people have,
I
go
wonder
ahead,
if
Paul.
I could jump in and see
Yeah.
if Jamie will even do something impromptu.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. I was glancing and I was thinking about, did we really ever talk about compliance from Blackpoint in other?
We have not talked about compliance yet, but that is a great topic. So, one of the areas of compliance I mentioned in passing was NIST, right? We have got NIST, CMMC is coming up, HIPAA, PCI. These are all common compliance frameworks. Now, Blackpoint's detection and response framework, our ability to spot threats and respond to them in real time, satisfies a huge chunk of your NIST requirements, a huge chunk of your HIPAA requirements, right? And PCI has some detection and response requirements as well. So does FINRA and all those other good ones. So right out of the gate, we do that already. Coming soon, and the marketing is going to love me for announcing this on the fly, but we are looking at also going a little bit further into that. So just stay tuned. There'll be more to come about compliance, maybe in a couple of weeks or months. Sheila, when can we get back out here to talk about that?
Yep.
All right. Well, that sounds good because I really want to put together a comprehensive solution, and that includes compliance and those, the things that I can't do well is writing policies,
Yep.
So.
I would be thrilled to take that one offline and go into much further detail, or come back once everything's public.
Yeah, let's do both. Let's
Yeah.
talk offline, and then obviously reschedule when you're able to talk about it in a recorded fashion, because I know we have to edit a lot of videos right now.
I want to avoid that.
What I was about to say, it's like we can move right into the second part, the after show party.